Good morning.
Hey.
Welcome to the Family Meeting Podcast. Are we happy they're here?
We are so happy they're here.
We're so happy to see you.
Because otherwise it'd just be me and her, and that is not fun.
Excuse me?
I mean, it's all right. But we're headed towards empty nest.
We are. It's going to be just me and him for...
We're like a couple days away from taking our daughter Isabella off to college. So I think we need to sit in it for a little while.
I don't want to sit in it. I'm not...
How do you feel about it?
I'm not doing that right now. That's not what we're doing. We are also in the middle of volleyball season. So our two youngest...
And Isabella will not be going to the games because she will be in St. Augustine.
I'm poking your throat every time you start to talk about it. It's going to be a throat punch.
She'll be in St. She'll be in St. Augustine.
Listen, we aren't talking about it because we don't need to.
We do.
Everything's on target.
Hey,
everything's fine. There's no need to talk about it.
Yes, we talk to our viewers and our community about what's going on in our lives. This is the biggest thing going on in our life right now.
Yeah, I know, but there are other things too, like volleyball is happening. I'm sorry, I have a yawn today. So our two youngest are in volleyball. We did a tournament last weekend. They have 2 games this week and then a tournament this weekend. It is taking over our lives, and it's what we are thinking about.
Yeah.
So yeah, volleyball is actually what's really
especially
going on
Friday, because Friday we take Isabella to St. Augustine. We drop her off, leave her there all alone, and then we pick the young girls up. What? We pick the young girls up, and then we take them to the other side of the state, Winter Haven, for the tournament Friday and Saturday. So that's it. What are you feeling?
Anger.
Yeah, me too. What's the episode about today?
How to be angry with your spouse
and sin not. I would think that throat punching would be a sin.
Did you say throat punch?
See, I think that should be a sin because physical violence and harm. You
basically asked me to do it.
Yeah, right.
You basically were like, please punch me in the throat.
Yeah, right.
Please do this to me. No, we're talking about saying no to your children and how it's actually a loving thing. And this episode was born from a Facebook post in Family Meeting Community about saying no to your kids. And there was a good comment on it. So we've got that comment in this episode too.
Yeah.
I need to stop yawning before we actually start the podcast portion.
Yeah, I don't know what is your deal.
Sorry, YouTube. I don't know what's wrong with me. I had a cup of coffee and everything. I'm just not awake today.
Okay.
Let's do this. Start us off, babe.
Gather round, everybody. It's time for a family meeting. The Family Meeting is a show that's all about family relationships. We're the Osterkamps. I'm Thomas. This is my wife, Lysandra.
Hello.
Who's looking mighty fine today, by the way.
Hello, and welcome to our family. Welcome to episode 256 of the Family Meeting Podcast. On today's episode, we're going to talk about loving your child enough to say no. This episode came from a post that was made in Family Meeting Community about loving your kids enough to say no. And there was a good comment there, and I just felt like this was something that we could talk about. It's sometimes really hard to say no to your kids.
Yeah.
And we do live in a culture that pushes parents to keep their kids constantly happy. Giving in can feel easier than standing firm. But in the long run, it does weaken character and undermines trust. And it's kind of funny that we're talking about this today because Sunday night, our young adult connection group, which is such a great group, we have really good conversations and discussions around the Bible. They asked if we could do our group at Culver's. They wanted to go to Culver's.
Yeah.
And so, of course, I didn't. I'd much rather have it at my house in my sweatpants. But I was like, okay. So we go to Culver's and...
You can go to Culver's in your sweatpants.
I know, but I wouldn't, Although there was someone there in straight up pajama pants.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're usually a Walmart thing, but...
Yeah, but it's, I guess, yeah. Anyway, so we're trying to have our discussion, our biblical discussion, and there is a table right behind us that comes in after us, sits down, and they have this kids big screen iPad.
Yeah.
In it stands up, it's orange and yellow and bright colors. and there's 2 kids, and the mom's like, turn it up, your brother wants to see. And so like they have this cartoon going, it's so loud. The kids are like screaming until the mom turns it on. And then at one point the food got there, the mom was trying to turn it off. The kids scream, she turns it right back on.
Yeah.
And it was just like, it was just such an example of like what's happening in our culture as a whole.
Well, and the lack of care for anybody else in the restaurant, that it's like, we're the only important people here, so we can listen to it full volume. It's like the people who talk on the phone with it on speaker. It is a super pet peeve of mine. It's so annoying when I walk in a place and someone is listening to something full volume for the rest of us.
You would have lost your mind because there was an older gentleman that was down the booth from us who was listening out loud on his phone to some video, and it wasn't like a movie. It sounded like maybe a news report or something like that. So that's what it was like. He missed because he was.
That sounds miserable.
He was busy, but
yeah.
It was like terrible, and
it gets me heated pretty quick because it's like so self-centered and selfish.
Yeah,
like to make everybody there listen to whatever it is you're listening to.
Let me play devil's advocate.
Yeah.
So from the parent's perspective, in her mind, if she cannot get her child to sit quietly and eat, and she believes that if she says no to the screen, that her 2 children will scream and cry the whole time, maybe in her mind, this is her doing all of the rest of us a favor.
Maybe in her mind, do the rest of us a favor, eat in the car.
Yeah, well, you don't sound like you have very much sympathy right now, babe.
It is
that tender heart.
Because it's just one of those pet peeves of mine. It's like when I go to a hotel even, it's like I'm trying to be quiet so that I don't bother any other guests.
Yes.
Like it's just you're being thoughtful to the people who are around you.
Yeah, like our kids weren't allowed to jump off the bed.
So rude. Yeah.
And because of whoever would be below us. Yeah. You were like that.
Just have some concern for the people around you.
Yeah. Yep. Consideration. It's kind of lost a little bit today, I think. But that's not even what we're talking about. We're talking about telling your children no.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You just kind of brought it out of me.
I know. Now we've heard Thomas's little pet
rant
peeve
for the day.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, what's going on in family meeting community, baby?
Tons of stuff.
I know. Like, family meeting community has been really interesting, really fun. We got a lot of really great people in there posting. Just the other day, someone posted and needing advice for her kids and their behavior. It was really cool just to see people chime in and try to be helpful.
Yeah, I love that. They share prayer requests and things like that. It's a lot of fun memes.
Yes.
You posted one today about why they don't take second day school pictures, which I thought was funny.
The dad's like shoving the kids into the minivan. It's pretty cute.
But like a lot of times we'll post something, just to be funny, and then like an actual interesting conversation takes place in the comments. And we had that happen this week. I saw this somewhere, so I posted it in the group. It says, if you guys want to be 40 getting a kid dressed for kindergarten, then that's on you. And so just kind of being funny.
Yeah.
Like I think that whenever people choose to have kids, that's totally fine. But I just thought it was funny. Because I'm 44, almost 45. I can't imagine having little kids right now, like getting like a kindergartner.
Yeah, I'm 40 and I am tired at the thought of chasing around a child right now. Like I think I will enjoy the grandparent stage and everything, but like we've all heard our own parents say, then you get to send them home, right? So like that's the thing, is like it's not your responsibility forever. It's just a certain amount of time. So these people who are getting pregnant at 35, having their kids at 40, which is how old I am now. Or not, sorry.
Getting pregnant at 35 and having their kids at 40.
That's a long gestational period.
You just gave birth to a full-grown toddler.
What I meant was getting them dressed for kindergarten at 40.
Yeah. That was funny.
Yeah, that's not something that I want to do, and yet I kind of want to have another baby.
Yeah,
it's really
I don't
weird.
think so.
But anyway, tell us what people said in the comments.
So Carla jumps on right away and it's like, I gave birth at 40.
Yeah, and she has 7 kids.
Yeah.
They started later on in life having kids, and then they had 7.
Yeah. So then Chris gets on there, DeWind, and she's on the opposite end of the spectrum because she says, when I turned 40, Elena will be a month away from 18. Cheyenne will be turning 17.
And Cheyenne's her youngest.
She's going to almost be done at 40. So you're like total opposite ends of the spectrum. And we had more than one of our very good friends who are right around 40, got pregnant. Surprise babies for them.
Yes.
But I was like, please don't do that. And then Yvette gets on here and goes, hush, sir, we don't question the Lord.
I like that. Yes.
It was so funny. And then CJ says this. She goes, will be my life. Haha. I blame Jared for not finding me soon enough.
Sounds like they got a later start.
Sarah Sinareski goes, hey now! Exclamation point. So Gregory, I'm 40, getting one dressed for preschool with a crying face emoji.
I bet they are crying.
And
They're so tired.
So I go, you are a hero. I can barely get myself ready without needing a nap. And he goes, I mean by I'm getting one ready, I technically mean Mama is getting him ready, but I provide moral support.
Yeah, we all know that.
That's what I said. We all figured that. So, Cheryl, she says, I was 41 and 45 getting each of my girls ready for K5.
Wow.
Zero regrets, none whatsoever.
Beautiful. Yes.
I'm like, Cheryl, you are amazing. Mike Horsley goes, that was young in biblical times.
It's all in how you look at it.
Yeah. I like this thought from Rachel. She comments, parenting littles when you're over 40 is not for the faint of heart. It makes them more independent because I'm too old and tired to helicopter parent.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's even more to this. It was just a really good conversation that just stemmed out of a little joke. But to see people's perspectives and get an insight into their life and what's going on is always fun. And it's one of the things I love about that community is, connecting with people.
Yeah, me too.
We got September 4th coming up. So we're looking forward to our group coaching cohort on breaking the cycle. And I think that's going to be a great time and having some great conversations with people already. So I encourage you to jump into that. Once you jump in, you're put in the Facebook group, private page Facebook group just for that right away. So you can get started on that journey. But that'll kick off Thursday night, 6:30, September 4th. And here's the thing, if you can't be there at that time, we're recording them and we're going to drop those and upload those into the Facebook group. So you'll still have access to the videos, to the content, to the handouts and the flyers that we're giving out. So if one of the weeks, you're like 8 weeks, I can't commit to being there every Thursday at this time for 8 weeks, that's totally okay because all the content will be there. And of course, Lysandra and I are in the group, so if you have questions or something like that, you can always reach out to us personally there and get immediate feedback on whatever it is that you're working on. So go to familymeeting.org/shop, and you will see the option there for that group coaching cohort. Once again, September 4th. So just a couple of weeks away now, but it's going to be a good time together.
All right. Let's talk about saying no to your children, because loving your child is not always about giving them what they want.
I feel like maybe we should change the episode from saying no to your children to saying no to your wife.
What? No.
That exactly, just like that.
I disagree.
Because sometimes the most loving thing I can do is say no to you.
When have you ever said no to me?
I know, I can't.
Have you wrapped around my finger?
Yeah.
Yeah. But listen, sometimes love means saying no for their good. And it reminds me of what God does in our lives.
Yeah.
Because I cannot even think, I don't even know how many times, I cannot count how many times I have asked God for things and he has not given them to me. He has said no. Or he's redirected me to something else.
Oh, yeah, I'm the redirection?
Yeah, actually
you're like, God,
you are.
bring me the man of my dreams. And he's like,
No.
How about Thomas? Would you settle for that?
And I'm like, I'll take it. No, but I did ask for other things besides getting married to you. I wanted to be in that little AIDS orphanage in South Africa where I had served when I was 16, and that's where I wanted to be.
Yeah.
And literally God was like, no, you're not doing that. And I'm glad now, looking back. And that's, I think, the point, right, is that when God does not give us the things that we want all the time, there are times when you look back and you're like, oh, now I know why. Now, sometimes you never know why.
Yeah.
You don't understand.
Yeah, and God does not owe us an explanation.
No, he does not. And here's why. Because Isaiah 55, 8-9, I want to read these verses to you guys. I think this is going to help us when we think about God saying no to us and when we think about us saying no to our kids. It says, for my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. Because you see, God's perspective is infinitely greater than ours.
Yeah.
And what we want may not match what he knows is best for us. And that's typically how it is for our kids too, right? Let's take one example. Okay, so like all of our kids, I don't care what your kids are like, every single child would rather have candy and cookies before dinner, right? And we as parents know that if that's the only thing they ever eat, it's going to be a problem.
So our 17-year-old literally last night, she comes downstairs. Lysandra's making dinner. Mm-hmm. Making dinner is like, can I have ice cream? And you're like, I'm making dinner.
Like I'm chopping lettuce right now. You can see me chopping lettuce.
Literally making dinner. Yeah.
And she goes, I know, but I will eat dinner. I was like, okay, I'm going to let you have ice cream. She's 17, so I'm like, you can have ice cream, but you promise me that you're going to eat some of this healthy food. Oh yeah, I will. And she did.
It was super funny though. Yeah. Like that literally happened last night.
It did happen.
Can I have ice cream?
Yeah.
Like, I'm making dinner right now. What are you doing?
Yeah. So we know that they're all going to do that, but we see things that they don't see.
So what Lysandra's trying to say is like, she's not going to say no to her kids, but you should say no to yours.
Well, you can just talk to my children and find out that when they were little, they were always told no for candy and treats before dinner.
Well, from you.
Yeah, when I was, which is it's pretty rare that you were like on daddy duty without me. But
I know, but they would learn to come to me and not go to you.
Oh, Thomas.
So they'd come to me and be like, Daddy, can I have a piece of candy? And like, yeah, baby, come here. Let's snuggle while you eat your candy.
Well, thanks. You just totally ruined everything I was trying to say.
Well, you ruined it first by letting her have ice cream yesterday, so.
She's 17. It's not like she's 5. When she was 5, I would say no.
But I was getting ready to be like, no, your mom's making dinner. And you're like, yeah. I'm like, all right then.
You were going to say no?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah,
I'm surprised.
We kind of swapped roles here.
We did.
But you make a good point about that. And it's true. Our kids often think they know what's best for them. They don't. We often think we know what's best for us. We don't. Mm-hmm. But it also reminds me of this verse in James where he says this in verse 3. You ask and do not receive because you ask wrongly to spend it on your passions. And the idea is like you're asking for this for very selfish reasons. And a lot of times those selfish reasons are detrimental to what's best for us. Mm-hmm. And so those desires are often selfish or misaligned with what God really wants for us. And so God is like, no, I'm not going to give that to you because there's something so much better out there for you.
Yes.
And so he truly does know what's best for us. And when it comes to a lot of things with our kids, we truly know what's best for them. Mm-hmm. Now, there are certain things that I don't know what's best for them.
Okay.
And I have to trust God that he's going to take care of them, that he knows exactly what's best for them. And letting go and all those sorts of things are hard part. We're kind of in that season right now where we're letting go of our kids, and it's that natural thing. But for most stuff, like I know what's going to be best for our kids. You know what's going to be best for our kids. All you who are listening, like you know what's best for your kids. And we give the illustration about, ice cream before dinner. If it happens every once in a while, is it a big deal? No. But if it's every single night, and all they're eating is ice cream, all they're eating is cookies, wait a minute. Did she have ice cream and cookies for breakfast too?
I was hoping you wouldn't remember and tell everyone.
That literally just came to my mind right now. I was like, wait a minute. We were talking about making homemade ice cream sandwiches this morning, and then I saw her out in the kitchen. Like, what happened?
She's going through a little bit of a sweet tooth phase, I think.
I just literally remember that. That's so freaking funny.
They have volleyball practice for 3 hours every day and a game twice a week. So that's another like hour and a half of activity. Yeah. So we're it's okay right now.
I know you're feeling defensive, but I just thought it was so funny that this literally just happened 2 days in a row. And it never happens.
That's not the norm, but it's right now.
But that's what I'm saying. Like when it's every once in a while, not a big deal. It's not going to like destroy their health. But if we were to allow it every single day.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and if there wasn't also vegetables going in and meats going in and healthy things.
And it's like, or, hey, I know if my child's, just blows all their money, doesn't plan, doesn't prepare, doesn't think about the future, like that's not going to be good for you. I know you want to go shopping every day. I know you want to go to the movies all the time. You want to buy this, you want to buy that. But that's not going to be what's best for you in the long run.
Right.
Like you need to learn how to save, you need to learn how to budget and all those sorts of things. So in a lot of areas of our kids' lives, we know exactly what's good for them, what's not good for them. And so there's times where they come and they ask for things, they want something. The right thing for us to do is to say no to that thing.
Absolutely. And when they're little, like I think about when our kids were little, basically everything that they ask for is about selfishness.
Yeah.
I mean, they're naturally very selfish when they're young. I mean, we're selfish now. Like, who am I kidding? Adults are selfish. But as children, right? It's like, I want candy because it tastes good. I want to play with my friends because it's fun. I want those toys because I have this passion of greed for that thing. And it's just always want.
Well, and if you've listened to the podcast for any amount of time, you know that as far as like our parenting style is, hey, we're going to say yes unless we have a reason to say no. Mm-hmm. And there are a lot of good reasons to say no. But I don't think that needs to be our default. And that's not what we're talking about here.
Right.
We're talking about understanding what's best for our kids and saying no to those things that aren't what's best for them.
Right. And the thing you got to realize is that limits create structure, and structure gives children security.
Yeah.
So your kids need you to create the boundaries, and they need you to create the structure so that it gives them security. Clear boundaries help them understand what's acceptable and what is not. Your role is not to make your children happy in every moment. It is to raise them into capable, respectful, wise adults. And boundaries are a key part of that work. So you think about, our kids, what they want to do is they want to do whatever they want to do all the time. That's what our kids want. And we are there to set up some boundaries, some structure to their life, making sure they do their homework, making sure they don't run out into the street to play, like all the stuff, right? Yeah. So this is a way that you love your children, is by creating some boundaries for them.
Well, and the truth is, when we don't say no, we aren't loving our children the most. We're loving ourselves the most.
Yeah.
Like when I refuse to say no to something that is going to be harmful or detrimental long-term for my child, I'm not loving them. I'm loving me. We're afraid to say no because we want our kids to like us, or we don't want to deal with them throwing a fit. Like the whole Culver situation.
Yeah.
I'm worried what people will think about me as a parent if my kid's throwing a fit in the store. So saying yes feels easier in the moment, but real love is strong enough to say no.
So I was in the outlet mall probably last year. It was like last year with the girls, and doing some shopping. I think my mom was there too. So we're just walking around shopping. We had to use the restroom and stuff. And so we're in this like hallway area, and this woman walks by with her very small baby. I mean, just old enough like to hold a phone. So maybe 9 months, maybe a year old, somewhere in that range, like a very small child.
Yeah.
And this child had a phone that had like a lot of protection on it. So I'm guessing it was the child's phone, not the mother's. And the baby is...
I mean, if she drops her phone like you do, it might need that.
Yeah, I need baby protection on my phone. But this baby is holding a phone watching cartoons and is tapping like a baby, like literal baby. And she's tapping on the screen and shuts off the video on accident, right? And as soon as it shuts off, she starts screaming. And the mother quickly puts down all of her bags and everything she's doing, goes over, starts the screen up again, gives it back to the baby. The baby's fine now. And I'm just like watching this. And of course, it's easy for us to criticize because when we had babies, there were no smartphones. That makes us sound so old, but they're really not that new. When did smartphones even come out? I mean...
Yeah, I don't remember, but
2010, 2015, I don't even know. But either way, our kids were not babies, so we didn't really have the option. So I can't necessarily say that we would not do the same thing. Maybe we would. I hope not, because I just feel like that baby being raised like that in every stage of their childhood development, what kind of adult will come out of that? Like, what will that person be like? I assume, in my mind, like very addicted to screens, and then also throwing fits as an adult to get what they want when they want it immediately.
Well, bottom line is, by the time they're an adult, AI is going to be raising kids and everything else anyway.
Oh,
so,
geez.
Did you see this? I don't know if this is real or not.
This is scary. What is it?
Okay, I don't know if this is real or not, but I saw it in 2 different places. So I didn't research it. I just saw it. China apparently is developing robots that have wombs and are designed to carry the babies. Yeah.
So like for surrogacy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of cool for parents who can't have children, people who can't have children.
Yeah.
But also very scary.
Yep.
That makes me think of what's the old movie Matrix? The Matrix, where like you go in and they're like these pods of like babies being grown.
Yep. That's what we're moving towards, is like, yeah, people living in an alternate reality the whole time. Yeah.
It's scary.
The machines are taking over.
Yeah, but we trust the Lord. That is where our faith is, in God, not
So
in
by the time this
else.
child's, an adult, it'll be fine because they'll just be put inside the Matrix. And
So it doesn't matter what kind of character they have or any of their childhood training.
It won't
Doesn't
affect
matter.
us. Yeah.
Well, then this podcast is obsolete.
No, because they'll be that specific child will be too busy in the Matrix to do any damage to the world.
Oh, okay. But the rest of
Because
us...
they're already like enthralled with the screens.
Okay, so you choose whether or not you want to enter the Matrix.
Yeah.
Well, maybe. You don't know that.
Red pill, blue pill.
Oh, that's right. I haven't seen that movie for a long time. Okay, that's not what we're talking about today. Let's talk about consequences.
Yeah.
Consequences are important, right? And they teach cause and effect. And that, I feel like, is something that kids are starting to miss out on, is understanding cause and effect. Children have to learn that choices have outcomes.
Yeah.
And when they understand that, then they're better prepared for real life responsibilities. If I don't feel like going to work and I call in sick repeatedly, I'm going to lose my job. When I lose my job, I lose my money. When I don't have money, I can't buy stuff I want. Like, that's the progression. You have to understand that, right? Cause and effect. But if parents are always giving everything that they want, everything the kids want to their children, they don't really understand cause and effect. They don't feel any consequences, so they kind of feel like there are no consequences. Life is easy and good all the time. And at some point, they will be surprised.
Yeah.
And it's going to be rough.
And this is something I think that we need to understand as parents, is saying no is not rejection. Mm-hmm. We fear that if we say no, our kids are going to be angry at us. They're not going to like us. They might say those words. And I really think you're not a good parent unless you've heard your kids say the words, "I hate you." Mm-hmm. Like
I've heard it twice. I've heard it twice. Once from one daughter, once from another.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. When they were like late elementary.
But it's like, we think of like, if I say no, it's rejection. And the truth is, it's not rejection. It's guidance. It shows you care enough to protect them from harm. Teach them self-control. Prepare them for the world that is outside your home. Because here's the thing, especially when they're small, you feel like you're always going to be stuck in that phase. And the days seem to last forever. The weeks seem to last forever, especially now as you're getting into the school season and homework and extracurriculars and all that kind of stuff. But the truth is, and we are finding that out, like it's happening really quickly, that they're going to move outside the home and then they've got to figure it out for themselves.
Yeah. So here is what Reclaim, Heal, Thrive said on Family Meeting Community on this topic, and I wanted to share it with all of you. They said, saying no can feel tough, but it's a form of love that teaches kids about respect, responsibility, and the world beyond their comfort zone. Boundaries aren't shutting them down. They're showing them you care enough to set them up for success in the long run.
Yeah, that's great. That is great comment from one of our listeners.
I thought that was good.
I like their name too, Reclaim, Heal, Thrive. And I don't know who this is, but you know, they definitely have a great attitude here about saying no and what that means. So what we want to do in this episode is to share 3 practical ways to enforce limits without shame or anger. So you should be able to say no. I should be able to say no without getting angry, without shaming our kids for what they're asking or making them feel stupid or dumb or whatever.
Yep.
And the first practical way to do that is to set clear expectations ahead of time. And Lysandra and I would do this with the girls when they were small. And I think it helped a lot. And I don't even remember, do you remember why you started doing this in the first place? Like, where did the idea come from? Because why don't you explain what you would do? I know you've done it on the podcast, but I know we have a lot of new listeners. So give them kind of the description of what would happen as you would take our 4 toddler daughters into the store.
Yeah. So they were they would have been 5, 4, 3, and 1 year old. And I would be taking them to the grocery store by myself, right? So you know that there's toys in there, there's treats in there, and every child wants things from the grocery store.
Oh, yeah.
And I had to, I also was very concerned about their safety in the parking lots. So I would pull into the grocery store. They'd all be buckled in all of their car seats. And I would turn around and I would say, okay, we're at the grocery store now. When we get out, I'm going to get out. You're going to stay in your buckles. I'm going to go get a cart. And I always would park right next to the cart return. So I'd go get a cart. And I would say, I'm going to put the baby in the top. I'm going to put Abigail in the cart. Catherine, you're going to hold on to this side of the cart. Abigail or Violet or Isabella. Don't we all do that with our kids? Isabella, you're going to hold on to this side of the cart. We're going to walk in together. You cannot let go of the cart. If you let go of the cart, we go back home. So, okay. Then we get into the grocery store and we also set the other expectations, right? No one is allowed to ask for anything. If you ask for something, you won't get anything. If you can go the whole time without asking for something, I will get you something special. And it was usually like a cutie. Yeah. And then they could peel and eat their cutie in the car on the way home. And so just like setting really clear expectations of like, you're not allowed to ask. If you do ask, this is what's going to happen. This is who walks where. And then throughout the grocery store too, they knew that they had to hold on to their side of the cart the whole way. Everywhere we went, they couldn't let go of the cart. And that was a way for me to keep them safe so that I knew they weren't going to wander off. I wasn't going to lose a child, or of course, God forbid, someone would take a child from me. So those were the expectations, and I set them really, really clearly and specifically before we ever walked in to the grocery store or ever even got out of their buckles.
Yeah, which is so smart. And I don't remember why or where you came up with that, but
I think it was just out of necessity because I had more kids than I had hands.
Yeah.
So I think I just learned to do it.
When we do it that way, when we give the clear expectations ahead of time, kids feel safer and more cooperative when they know what's expected before a situation escalates.
Yes.
So
it works.
We would do this. Here's another example. We would often take our kids to the park. It was free. We had a great time. They loved it. Family days were so simple back then.
Oh,
it's
they were
literally
easy.
We could drive into any town and go to the park, and it's a new park for them, and so they're super excited about it. And then get ice cream when we're done. And it was the best day ever of their entire lives every single week.
It was great.
That's not the case anymore. It's a little more difficult. But we would explain ahead of time, like, hey, we're going to play. And rather than, and I've seen parents do this, and we might have made this mistake, and that's why we switched up the way that we did it, where it's like, okay, we're leaving now. And the kids, they don't want to stop playing.
Yeah.
And so what we started to do was give them a little heads up. Like,
yes.
Hey, 10 more minutes and we're going to leave. And so that gives them the chance to go down that slide one more time, or to go across the monkey bars one more time,
well, and to emotionally accept the idea that this fun is coming to a close.
Yeah. And so then they have the choice as things wind down to figure out, okay, what are the last things I want to do before I leave here? But they know exactly what's expected and what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. And it goes back a lot to what Lysandra talked about, they like the feel of that safety. And part of that feel of safety is knowing what's going to happen,
right,
when it's going to happen. Because for our kids, a lot of their life is just unknown.
Yeah.
And so
they're carted around without any option for like opinions or anything when they're little.
Yeah. And then we kind of are surprised when they throw fits or they misbehave. And a lot of times it's just a reaction to the fear of the unknown. I don't know what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. So when we can give them the clear expectations, we take away some of that fear, because, okay, I know this is what I'm supposed to do when I get here. Then this is what time we're leaving, and I get a little, so like we're trying to take away some of those factors that could cause them to misbehave. Now, kids are still going to be kids. Our kids mm-hmm. still had times where they threw fits in the store and all that stuff, but you can do a lot to kind of cut off some of those factors. It. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then also use reminders, not threats. Okay. So remember, you're trying to figure out how can you say no without shame and anger? How can you do it in the right way? It's not about threatening your children. And I have witnessed so many times. I mean, I don't even know how many times, so many times where moms are like, okay, we're leaving. I'm leaving you. You're going to get left at the park.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, we saw it all the time. And I'm just like, oh, that cannot be good for that kid's psyche. I don't know.
I'm going to leave you in the store. I'll do it. I'm like, really?
Yeah. And of course, the idea is that the kid becomes so afraid of being left that they run to the car and obey. And I understand that people are doing this because they're desperate and they don't know what else to do. And I want to say that I understand that. If that's something that you have done or are doing, I get that you're at your wit's end. But I do think that there are better ways to do it. Reminders, not threats. Letting them know ahead of time what's going to happen. And of course, when they're little, worst case scenario, picking them up and carrying them out, kicking and screaming, I think would be probably a better way to do it than to threaten that you're going to leave them in the store for the rest of their life. But
yeah, hey, I'm going to abandon you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, threatening abandoning may not be the best thing. But
do you want to stay at the fire station? You want to do it? I can drop you off there.
Stay consistent though. So if you say, I'm going to leave in 5 minutes, leave in 5 minutes. Got to stay consistent. Even if they test the boundary. Yeah. Thomas, will they test the boundary?
Always, every time.
Every time they'll test that boundary, and you stay consistent, and that's what helps them. So maybe you're not going to threaten. You're going to remind. Remember, screen time ends at 6:00. Okay, you can finish the show, but then you're gonna turn it off. Don't start another show. It's a reminder. It's not necessarily a threat. Now, if you need to set up the consequences again, remind them of the consequences. That's one thing, but threatening is different. Yeah. Threatening, you're not actually gonna do anything. It's just to try to scare them. It's a scare tactic. Consequences are this: if you do this, this will happen, and then keep your word and do exactly what you're going to say. And for those of you who maybe are saying this is helpful information, we are currently writing a book on parenting that is specifically about discipline.
Yeah.
And we share what we did and what we did wrong, and just our perspective on the best way to discipline your children. And it truly worked for us. It was successful for our children. So we want to share that with you. And that book will be coming out hopefully by the end of the year.
Well, and you brought up threats, and here's the thing about your kids, they figure it out pretty quickly. They figure it out that, her words don't mean anything, And that's why you've got to count to 86. You know?
I'm counting.
Yeah.
Still counting.
But they figure that out pretty quickly. And so, first of all, just making sure you set those clear boundaries, clear expectations ahead of time. And then, secondly, use natural and logical consequences. So
I like that.
pay attention to those two words, natural and logical. Logical consequences connect the behavior to the result without needing anger or shame. So you're going to help them to very clearly be able to see the correlation between the two. And you need to do this by keeping consequences related, respectful, and reasonable. So this means you've got to stay calm. You can't just fly off the handle.
Right.
And trust me, we know one of the most like frustrating things in the world is parenting. And there are times where our kids just flat out make us angry.
Absolutely.
But it's not okay to discipline in anger. It's never okay. So if you need to like go take a break and all that kind of stuff, we'll get to that in just a second. But you got to stay calm and explain why the consequence is happening. So, and avoid personal attacks like, why are you always like this?
Yes, that's so detrimental to a child.
And we talk about this in marriage relationship all the time, but it's true of parenting as well. You have to remember, like, yes, they're your kids and they're small, but they're still people.
Yes.
Like, they're still people, and the words that you say will stick with them forever like nobody else's words.
That's right.
So it may look something like this, okay? If a child refuses to put away toys, the consequence might be, you're showing me you're not ready to use them responsibly, so we'll put them away for the rest of the day. Mm-hmm. So you're not obeying in this instance. So the consequence has to do with the specific disobedience involved.
Yes.
So you don't want to, put your trucks away. I mean, I don't know about playing with trucks.
Yeah, you only understood like Barbies.
Yeah, with four daughters we have. So let's go there. Okay, you don't want to put your Barbies away. The Barbies are going away and not outrageous. Like, I'm not throwing them away.
Yeah. Like, you'll never see these Barbies again.
Not forever, but hey, all right, you can play with these again tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And so they start to see the correlation between, okay, I didn't put my Barbies away. The consequence had to do with the Barbies. And so they start to learn those logical consequences.
Yes. And maybe you can't have a logical consequence. You can't have a reasonable consequence because you are too angry. You have lost control. Trust me, I've been there. Thomas has been there. We have lost control with our children. We have been angry with our children. And so if you cannot give that consequence and discipline your children without being angry, then it's time to take a step back. You've got to stay calm and regulate yourself first before you implement any kind of consequences. Because keep in mind that kids mirror your emotional tone. When you stay steady, it helps them regulate their emotions too. So maybe you need to take a deep breath, lower your voice, speak slowly.
You know what's funny? Even as adults, like this whole thing can be true where if a certain person is steady or they're in control or they're confident, like I feel confident. I went, this is a few years ago now when we lived in Alabama, and we had a guy in our church, Danny, his wife Tina, fantastic people. They are like family to us.
Yes.
But Danny is a commercial fisherman and shrimper, and we were out on the boat. One time, storm comes up, and I'm just like, this is a whole new world for me, because first of all, at that point, I'm deathly afraid of sharks, so I do not want to get in that water. And then it's storming.
You're from Iowa, from the middle of the cornfields.
Exactly.
You don't know.
I'm not from the middle of the cornfields, but yes, I do not know the ocean. You're from the middle of the cornfields.
Your city that you grew up in, City Boy, was surrounded by cornfields.
No, it was surrounded by soybeans, first of all.
Oh, my goodness.
But I'm out on this boat, and I'm just kind of watching him. And he's moving around very intently, doing the things that need to be done, but he's very calm. And then at one point, like, the storm starts to get worse, and I could see, like, he's not panicking, because he didn't panic, but he was a lot more excited than he was before. And then I started getting real nervous.
Yeah, because you're taking your cues from him.
Where it's like the waves are coming up, and we're trying to get behind this island to block the waves that are coming at us. And so, yeah, it was a pretty intense situation. And it was interesting that once his emotions changed, mine also changed, but like at a higher rate. So
Yeah.
I think about our kids too in that moment where it's like they're going to react to an even higher rate than we are. So if I'm pretty angry, then that's going to throw their emotions off. And if I'm freaking out, their emotions are going to be thrown off.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you make a good point. But even as adults, sometimes, depending on the situation, that same thing can be true.
Yeah, because it just escalates one on top of the other. Okay, so rather than lectures, you're going to use short, firm statements. Now, I am the lecture queen. I love
True story.
to give a good lecture. Our kids are so funny because they send me memes all the time that are like I just wanted to listen to a song and my mom turned it into a huge lecture. And I absolutely have done that multiple times.
Oh, yeah.
Like a song will come on that they play or something. And I'm like, girls, we really need to talk about this song. Listen, I understand what they're trying to say, but you got to realize that if you look at it from that way, and I like go on this big long lecture.
25-minute rant on a 2-minute song.
Yes. But the point here is that if you're angry and you're trying to give a lecture, you're probably yelling at your kids. If you need to, step away briefly before addressing the issue. You don't always have to deal with the issue right away. Now, if they're running into the street, you got to deal with that right away.
Right, exactly.
But there are things where you can like, okay, they're disobeying me and they're throwing a fit in my living room right now. I am so angry. I'm going to scream at this child. So I'm just going to leave. Like I'm going into my bedroom and shutting the door. I can hear them screaming in the living room and throwing their fit. I don't have to address the fit right now. Right now, I need to get myself calm.
Yeah, because unless they're going to harm themselves or harm somebody else, it's not really that urgent, right? Certain situations we feel like it's urgent because, well, somebody else might see we're in the store and somebody else might hear, but it's truly not that urgent unless they're going to harm themselves or somebody else.
That's right. So once you get yourself calm, the things that you can say are things like, I see you're frustrated. I'm going to help you calm down first, and then we're going to talk about what happened. Because, of course, the fit is not really the problem. The fit came because they didn't like the instruction you gave them. They didn't like when you said no, that you took the screen away, that you took their toys away, that they had to leave grandma's, whatever. You got to kind of get them off the ledge first so that you can address the behavior.
Yeah.
And then you also have to address the fit. But it doesn't have to be done right away. Make sure that you are calm before you're doing any kind of correction.
And in the midst of it all, I think it's important to affirm the relationship even while you're correcting the behavior.
Absolutely.
So you want them to know, like, the relationship is strong, like, you're always going to be my child and all those sorts of things. Like, I love you too much to let you keep doing that. I know it's hard. I'm here to help you learn. Mm-hmm. Like, the point is, like, we're connected. You're my son. You're my daughter. Nothing's going to change that. But we've got to deal with the situation.
Yeah, and I think it's important that even in the midst of them throwing a fit or just outright blatant terrible behavior, to still tell them I love you, because you don't want them to ever think that your love for them is based on their behavior.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be. As parents, we should have unconditional love for our children just as God has for us. But there are times when they're screaming I hate you, that it's like I just want this to stop. You just want it to stop. How can I make this stop quickly? How can I get them to stop behaving this way?
It's funny is even at a young age, like, they know exactly which buttons to push.
Absolutely.
Like, they say that to a parent because they know deep down inside that's like the worst fear of a parent.
Yeah.
Like we want our kids to love us. We love them more than anything, and so
yeah. But they know it's verbal abuse.
It is.
Kids are verbally abusing us.
Yeah, and they also know the time too. Like, their worst behavior is often when there's other people around.
Yeah. Oh, those
they
little
know
stinkers,
they can try.
Man.
Maybe I can get away with it because company's here, or we're out in the middle of the store, or
Yep. Yep. Or you're embarrassed because other people are like seeing how you parent and you're like, what if they think I'm doing it poorly? And honestly, all of us are just like, I don't even know if this is the best thing to do right now. I'm just going to try this thing here.
Yeah.
That's what we're all doing. Okay. And then if it doesn't work, we're going to try something else next time. Right.
Well, and it's rarely a moment where it's like, where we have feelings of what a bad parent. Typically we look at a situation like that and we're like, I'm a really good parent. Like, like, we're not looking down on you. We're feeling good about us.
Or at least for me, a lot of times it's pity. Like, I'm so sorry I've been there.
Yeah.
And I try to tell
Yeah.
moms that if they're having their child throw a fit in a store or a restaurant, I'm like, I've been there, sweetie. I know it's hard. You're doing good.
Yeah.
Like, I try to give
reassure
them a little
them.
encouragement.
Yeah.
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 But how do you handle the guilt or the pushback or the parenting pressure? Like, because sometimes you feel like you're a bad parent when you say no, even though you know you need to say no. So you can remind yourself a couple of things. I'm not hurting them. I'm helping them grow. They need this. This is what I have to do right now. Remind yourself that boundaries teach children self-control, respect, and how to handle disappointment. And those are all skills they are going to need for life. So kind of be reminding yourself. You might have to coach yourself in your mind. Coach yourself. This is the way that I need to do it. This is the right thing. I know it's hard right now, but it will be better in the long run. And just remind yourself those things.
Well, and I think along with reminding yourself is sometimes we just like need a sanity check from somebody.
Oh, yeah.
So whether it's your spouse or maybe it's a parent or it's it's your own parent, or maybe it is a parent of other children that you really respect the way that they're raising their kids, where you can go to them and say, hey, this is what happened and this is how I responded. Do you think that was okay? Was I too harsh? Because sometimes we just, because honestly, we're all just trying to figure this out. Like when we had our first child, none of us had been a parent before.
Right.
Like even if you had a lot of experience with nephews, or like I had a brother who's 17 years younger than me, nieces and whatever else like Lysandra did, we still weren't parents.
No, it's not the same.
So when you have that first kid, you've never been a parent before. When you've had your next kid, it's like, yeah, I've been a parent before, but I've never had to parent two kids. Mm-hmm. So even
and this one's different.
And yeah, definitely. And the dynamic
not the
changes
same.
and everything else. So even though, yes, I have experienced parenting for how many years or months in our case, I've never parented this many kids, or I've never parented in this stage. And so everything that comes along is new for you. And so having that person where it's, yes, remind yourself like these important things, but I think it's also great to have people in your life. And like I said, maybe you have a spouse that you can go to. We have a lot of like single parents who are doing their best and doing great jobs raising kids.
They're doing
awesome. So you don't necessarily have a spouse that you can go to, but maybe it's your parents. Maybe it is another parent that you respect, and you can just have those people where you can talk about this stuff too. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things I love about family meeting community as well, is we have parents jump in there and just say, hey, I need prayer for this, or I'm having this problem. Mm-hmm. What do you guys think I should do here?
Yeah.
And it's, so we do have fun. We do joke around, but at the same time, it's a place where you can go and you can kind of find some of this stuff that we're talking about.
Yeah. And if you don't have someone who you can kind of do a sanity check, so to speak, we can be that for you, because we do offer parental coaching. That is something that we offer through Family Meeting, and you can go to our website, info@familymeeting.org, and you can find how to get a hold of us for coaching for parenting, because we know sometimes it's hard to be alone in it and you don't know what you're doing and it's scary and you just need somebody to talk to, or that sanity check. We are happy to be that for you as well. So you can reach out to us through that anytime.
And here's the thing. You have to expect to receive pushback from your kids. You know, you asked the question just a second ago, are they gonna test the boundaries? Like, yes, always. Mm-hmm. They're gonna push back. Mm-hmm. And the key is to stay calm. Children pushing back doesn't mean you're failing.
Right.
It means the boundary is real, and part of the whole process for them in once again, going back to the safety, is knowing exactly what the boundaries are. So they're testing to see if that boundary is a reality or not. Mm-hmm. And so that pushback is going to be there. And it's not necessarily an act of rebellion or defiance. A lot of times it's literally about, okay, what is the space? Mm-hmm. And what are the actual boundaries versus what they say the boundaries are? it's a test of consistency, not your worth as a parent.
That's right.
And so even as they're testing the boundaries, just kind of keep that in mind, that it's going to happen. It's a natural part of the process.
And stay steady. You know, don't freak out. Don't start screaming. Don't yell. We believe that there is not ever really a time for yelling to your children. Maybe if they are running into the street or they're about to put their finger in an outlet. Although nowadays you can put your finger in an outlet and you don't get shocked, right?
Yeah,
So
a
it's not
lot
as
of the
dangerous.
plugs have the little thing in there, yeah.
Okay, so it's not as dangerous anymore. But, you know, when it's a danger, right, and you want to prevent them from getting hit by a car, of course, yell at your child. But other than those extreme situations, we don't yell. Like, we're not into yelling. Stay steady. You can say things like, I hear you're upset, and I understand why you feel upset, but my answer is still no. So it's okay to like realize and affirm their feelings, right? Okay. Like you get upset when you're told no too. You get upset when things don't go the way you planned as well. They're just too little to regulate their emotions. They don't know how to handle being told no yet. That's what you're there for. You're walking them through this, but you're not changing the answer, because when you change the answer, you're showing them that the fits get results. So they're going to do the fit again, right? So my answer is still no. And you can use empathy without giving in.
Yeah.
I know you really wanted to go. I understand. We can't do that, but maybe we can do a puzzle together. We can do this over here together. And it's okay to have empathy. Just don't give in, because that's not going to help you. You're going to be further behind than you were when you started.
And so also, as much as possible, silence the noise of outside pressure. Whether it's family, social media, other parents, a podcast.
Silence all your podcasts.
Outside opinions can create false pressure to parent a certain way. So like, even at the beginning of this episode where I'm ranting about people listening to stuff. Like,
Out loud in a restaurant.
out loud in a restaurant.
Public spaces.
It's like, I'm a grumpy old man.
Yeah.
So if that's what you have to do that. Don't listen to outside people. You don't have to parent a certain way.
Right.
Right? My kids are not your kids. The way you do things doesn't have to be the way that I do things. You're not failing if you don't do what others expect or what they would like you to do. Focus on your values and your child's long-term needs, not pleasing other people.
Right. Right. And there's so much, like there's the influencers, and then there's just your friends on social media, and then there's your parents, and then there's his parents, and everybody has their own ideas of the ways that you should handle situations. One thing that I loved is when my parents would see me discipline my children, and they'd be like, "Oh, you're so hard on them." And I'm like, "Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
When I was a kid, you would never have let me do that. You would have been way harder on me." And it
Says the girl who was spanked one time in her entire life
Well,
because she was such a goody-goody.
all right. But it is.
My parents were so tough on me.
Okay, I watched them be tough on my sister and brother.
Tell me. Tell me you know what that's like.
I was a people pleaser. I should say I am a people pleaser.
Yeah. And so we have parents out there that are the same way. And so
Yeah.
it's like, but you can make yourself exhausted and go crazy
Yes.
trying to please everybody, because everybody has
Yeah.
a different idea of how you should do what you're doing with your kids. And bottom line is, they're not the parents of your kids. God did not give those kids to them. God gave those kids to you.
Right.
And so you have to do what you feel is the right thing for your kid.
Yeah, and you may need to remind yourself, okay, they don't live in my home or raise my child. I do. This is my job. I'm raising this child. I'm going to do it the way that I believe is best. And go to the Lord for help with guidance and knowing, how to do it the best way possible for you and your children. But as guilt rises up, remind yourself it's okay for my child to be upset. Discomfort is not danger. They're just uncomfortable. They're not in any kind of danger. They're totally safe. My boundary is an act of love, not rejection.
Yeah.
Teaching now is going to protect them later. All these things that you have to remind yourself to be able to keep doing the thing that you need to do.
And I'll say this, if you're consistently overwhelmed by guilt, you mentioned guilt just a second ago.
Yeah.
If you're constantly overwhelmed by guilt, it might be a sign to check your own upbringing, inner critic, or need for support.
Yeah.
So you may have some soul. Why do I feel guilty about the way that I parent all the time?
Well, and it could be that at your heart you're not doing it right. You could feel bad because you're yelling at your kids all the time, or that you're berating them, or you're saying things that is actually going to damage them emotionally for a long time. And like sometimes those feelings are actually like red flags for us to check ourselves.
Sure.
Just because there's a lot of different ways to parent, it doesn't mean that every parenting way is right.
Yeah.
There are wrong ways to parent, and berating your children and verbally abusing your children is absolutely wrong. Physically abusing your children is absolutely the wrong way to parent. So if any of those are the reasons that you have guilt or shame or doubt over your parenting style, then those are probably things that you need to work on and change about yourself.
But I think even in that, like, getting down to the reason behind it.
Absolutely.
Like,
right.
Why do I feel like this is the way I should respond? But that guilt is always like a sign to search a little bit deeper. Like,
agreed.
What's the reason behind this? Sometimes, as Lysandra mentioned, it is because of the way that we responded or the way we are parenting. But sometimes it's the things that have happened to us.
Mm-hmm. Our own trauma.
So it's not necessarily a signal that you're doing something wrong. It could be. But it's always, I think, a sign to look inside to say, what is the reason this is here for?
Absolutely. So after you set the boundary and you've really talked to your kids through this, and you're working on your guilt, and you're working on, all of the parenting expectations and everything, make sure that even when you do say no to your children, that you are following up with warmth and connection, showing that love. And as we talked about, saying I love you even in the midst of fits and stuff. This shows kids that limits don't mean disconnection. Hug, play with your children, simply be near your children afterwards, after the whole thing went down. Say, even when you're upset, I'm here. I love you. I love you even when you're naughty. I love you even when you're acting naughty. You're not supposed to tell your children you are naughty. You're acting naughty, right? But this is going to help your child associate that boundaries are safety and love, not shame and rejection. So the bottom line is, all of our kids need to hear no sometimes.
Yeah.
And in different stages of life, their temper tantrums look different. Guaranteed, even our teenagers throw their own version of a fit when they're told no.
Most definitely.
It's just a little bit more attitude, disrespectful, talking under their breath, something like that. A lot of times it's just these dirty looks they give us. The old phrase, like, if looks could kill.
Yeah. You'd be dead a lot.
I would be dead a lot. You would not be dead as much as me.
No.
Because you don't deal with them quite as much as I do. I think because they're girls. It's the nature of the game. But do what's right. Love your child enough to say no, even when it's hard. And if you need a little more help with this, we do have a bonus resource for you. We have Healthy Boundaries for Christian Parents checklist. So this is going to help you to maybe dig a little deeper, maybe help you a little bit more in your parenting and when to say no and how to say no and all of that. So if you want that, you can email us at info@familymeeting.org and just put in there Healthy Boundaries for Christian Parents or Loving Your Kids Enough to Say No, and we will know exactly what you need, and we will send you this bonus resource.
Family meeting tonight, you're going to sit down with your spouse or somebody that you really respect their parenting, and just have this conversation about parenting, about setting healthy boundaries for your kids. Are there areas where you struggle to say no? And for whatever reason, whether it's you're worried about what other people are going to think or whether you're just tired. Hey, I know parenting gets tired. Sometimes it is literally just easier, instead of fighting it, just to give in and say yes.
Oh, yeah.
But having that conversation around those things, encouraging each other as parents, because it's a tough job. It's very rewarding, but it's a tough job. It's a great privilege, and we are so blessed to be able to have you all in our lives to do this parenting thing with, that we don't have to do it alone.
Right.
I love the community that we have surrounding Family Meeting. And just want to take this time to be reminded and say thank you to all of you for the impact that you're having in our family as well.
Yes, thank you. And thanks for joining us today. Please go and subscribe to the Family Meeting Podcast from your favorite podcast provider. And if you found this information helpful, please share this episode on social media and invite your friends and family to listen in with you.
To find more content and information Lysandra and I provide, you can go to our website, familymeeting.org, or email us at info@familymeeting.org. If you'd like to shoot us a text or call us, you can send a voice message at 904-257-3062.
Thank you for that. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
We want to invite you to join us for our next family meeting as we begin a 2-part series about marriage threats, internal and external. Next week, we'll get the discussion going with internal marriage threats.
Kind of like threatening to marry somebody?
Yeah.
Like, I'll marry you. I'll do it.
No!
Anything but that. Thanks for joining us today for this family meeting. Have a great week, everybody. This meeting's adjourned.
All right, guys. When is it hardest to say no to your children? When is it hardest? Is it in public? Is it when you're sleepy at night? When is
I'd
it
say
hardest?
night for me is one of the hardest.
To do any kind of parenting whatsoever.
Really to do anything. I'm just ready for bed. Like, yes, whatever it is you want is yes.
Just yes, I don't even care.
Leave me
Just
alone.
don't talk to me.
Leave me alone.
Yeah. But we want to hear from you. Let us know what you have done that's made it a little bit easier for you to say no when you need to say no. Let us know maybe the mistakes that you've made because we can learn from you and
Most
we
definitely.
need that. So,
Definitely.
Thank you for joining us this week. Have a great week. Go tell your children no. Bye-bye.